Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new franchise ranking. And this franchise ranking is going to be for a sci-fi franchise, or dystopia franchise, or whatever, but a futuristic franchise. Sci-fi futuristic, dystopia franchise, whatever you want to call it. And it's for a franchise that started in 1999, and so far has concluded, and hopefully stays that way, concluded in 2021 last year. And this franchise is going to be for all four of the Matrix movies. So yeah, I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best. So, that being said, let's get started. So obviously kicking off at number 4 at the very bottom of the barrel is going to very obviously be The Matrix Resurrections. Or as I call this, The Matrix Pissurrections. Now, this is the one Matrix movie I do not own and I only ever saw once. Now, you guys remember when I gave this movie a 5 out of 10 last year in my review? Well, this movie has gotten worse and worse each time I think about it. Because whenever I rewatch any clips of this movie, and I mean any clips, I dislike the fuck out of this movie the more and more times I rewatch it. Rewatch these clips anyways. Like, the first part of the movie literally tries to be some kind of self-iconic introspective on the state of movies, even made a direct reference to a Matrix sequel. Now, the problem with that kind of commentary is that you effectively break the fourth wall, or ruin any idea that this isn't just a movie. The film then just stumbles towards some kind of plot about the new Matrix and Neo and Trinity, but it fails miserably at it, like laughingly bad, and it's filled with loads of remember this flashbacks, and obvious slow-mo and blur, dull and confusing story, dumb dialogue, and crap action sequences you won't remember at all. Also, this has the stupidest recasting of several characters ever. Like Smith, for example. Mr. Anderson! It can't be. The fact they even just bring back Smith in general just entirely pisses on the whole mini revolutions. It pisses on all the sacrifices Neo made to stop the whole war. Even basically, so yeah. It just ruins his whole sacrifice and it ruins his good send-off. Yes, guys, I thought he had a good send-off in the third one, and I get to that in a bit. In fact, now that I think about it, guys, before I get to the main plot, even Morpheus gets recasted, but there's a problem though. That Morpheus is, the real Morpheus we know is literally dead of old age. So instead we get this fake Morpheus that doesn't do shit the whole entire movie. In fact, Smith, Neo, and Trinity literally get the dumbest reason and dumbest way of getting revived ever.
Resurrecting you both was crazy expensive. Like renovating a house. Took twice as long, cost twice as much.
Who did this? The ending is even pathetic too, because like this whole movie, like Neo doesn't even do a single thing, and and they just made him a complete coward. And somehow Trinity now has some of his powers, like she's now able to fly near the end of the film, even though she never could, like at all, the whole entire first 3 movies. And the ending is probably really stupid. Like, this film was just so bad that I literally walked out, instead just went and watched Sing 2, and honestly, you know what's crazy? An Illumination sequel actually felt like, felt like a fucking Pixar movie compared to fucking this. Like, oh no. Here's when I'll just be in any good mood to rewatch Matrix Resurrections ever again. Fucking never. And kicking off at number 3, I know this. A lot of you are going to start punching the screens when I say this. They're going to start swearing crazy. The Matrix Revolutions. And now I just lost 150 subscribers. Fuck it, I don't care. I know I'm gonna get hate for saying this, but I enjoy this movie, and I really wish it were the send-off to the franchise we got. It's not near as good as the first film, or even the second movie. The dialogue wasn't that impressive or memorable for the most part, except for Hugo Weaving does play a really great villain, and is good in all 3 of these movies, along with how this conflicting plays out with Neo. Except the human conflicts and more philosophical exploration of the Matrix and reality were not really explored in this film near as much, since it was very well established very early on. And I do hate how basically Neo spends a majority of the film blind, because technically if you think about it, if you guys have seen the movie, we know that Neo just basically gets another vision he can see through of. So basically, it's kind of pointless to blind him because he can literally just still see in a different kind of vision. So there was kind of no reason for that. And of course, they kill off Trinity a second time, but I'll admit it. At least unlike a load of other worse sequels like the Disney Star Wars trash and Alien 3, at least Trinity still played a role in this film and actually died playing a role in this film. So at least she was still part of the plot. But I still do enjoy seeing the Zion fight with the machines and the citizens. Neo still having a main role in this movie despite limited screen time. What's also the best scene of the franchise is that final fight between Neo and Smith in the rain. And all in all, I think Revolutions is an underrated gem. It's the weakest of the original three, but I'll always defend it no matter what you all start thinking about it. Kicking off in second place is obviously going to be The Matrix Reloaded. This exciting sequel is full of thrills, cutting-edge visuals, stylist innovations, fights, tension, suspense, and groundbreaking races, and also several commercial elements, including computer-simulated violence. Like, this is a dynamic, fast-paced, and amusing movie. Though overall, it's an enjoyable, if somewhat lighthearted piece of escapism with state-of-the-art special effects and straightforward screenplay. But the thing is, when you compare this film with the first Matrix, it's impossible not to be a little disappointed. The first Matrix was inspiring, great, perfect, and Reloaded and Revolutions do fall weaker in comparison. The worst thing about The Matrix Reloaded are most certainly the Zion scenes. They were just kind of boring and seemed to drag on forever, with the absolute low point, that whole 5-minute rave and orgy scene after Morpheus' speech, where they basically all dance half naked in slow motion for 5 whole minutes and for literally no apparent reason, and we get a sex scene between Neo and Trinity randomly. However, what this movie does have is definitely has the best action scenes of the franchise, like with the burly brawl and the car chase and the ending scene in that whole building. All in all, guys, this movie may not be as good as the first one, but it definitely has the most exciting action scenes of the franchise, the most action of the franchise, and I still have a lot of fun with this movie, regardless of some flaws I have with it. Alright, and the number one best Matrix film, no question, is very well obviously going to be The Matrix, the first film from 1999. This is by far the greatest movie of 1999 and the greatest sci-fi role-play film of all time. Nothing ever tops that phenomenal first film in any way, shape, or form. The Matrix is a defining science fiction film of the 90s and the biggest leap the genre has taken since Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey and Ridley Scott's Blade Runner and George Lucas's Star Wars. The Matrix is a groundbreaking motion picture that not only raised the bar for all the science fiction films to come after it, but also redefined the action genre with its thrilling action sequences and revolutionary visual effects. The direction and script by the Wachowskis is fantastic, as they drew ideas and inspiration from every other great sci-fi and cyberpunk movie and anime before the film, combining it with stunning action and pulling to one picture that has enough style, substance, and subtext that everyone ended up giving their own interpretation of the story. The research that went into the preparation of the screenplay is quite extensive, but the manner in which it is presented on the big screen is also very impressive. Every character presented on the film has a well-defined arc and a purpose, and their motivations are clear. The performances are spectacular, especially from Keanu Reeves himself, which this film introduced me to one of the best actors of all time in Hollywood, and one of the few I still don't mind trusting. In conclusion, The Matrix is a masterpiece everyone should see. It's one of the most thought-provoking, inventive, pioneering, influential, and stylish movies of all time, and it's also full of philosophical and religious allegories waiting for interpretation. Immortal for its contribution to cinema and pop culture, its brilliant combination of inventive visual effects, excellent vision, and exquisite action easily makes it one of the best, most influential, and most entertaining movies ever made, and nothing, and I mean nothing, can ever top what a masterpiece the first film always will be. There we go. That wraps up my ranking for all 4 of the Matrix films, so I want to know in the comments down below how you'd rank the films, and I think I know how some of you would obviously rank the whole franchise. I don't think it's much of a shock at this rate, but yeah, I still want to know your opinions anyways. Until then, guys, that'll be it for this franchise ranking. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Don G. Corleone.